For 7 long years, Burkina Faso, a landlocked West African nation rich in natural resources, unknowingly bled billions of dollars. On paper, its exports appeared meager. Shipments of iron ore worth barely $2,800 each. But in reality, every container that left Ouagadougou's borders carried far more than iron. Inside those sealed crates was gold, real gold, with each shipment valued at over $47 million. The deception was elegant in its simplicity. Trade codes, the numerical identifiers that classify every export in the global customs and banking systems, had been tampered with. Instead of code 7108, which represented gold, the shipments were marked as 2601, the code for iron ore. With that single manipulation, Burkina Faso's lifeline was quietly siphoned away. The world believed Burkina Faso exported little of value. Reports from the International Commodity Trading Corporation painted the nation as one of the least productive in Africa. Meanwhile, gold buyers across Europe and Asia received the shipments at iron prices, their ledgers showing purchases of ore while their vaults filled with bullion. To outside observers, Burkina Faso was poor and struggling, dependent on foreign aid. But beneath that illusion, its wealth was being devoured by a sophisticated network that operated at the heart of the global financial system. The mastermind of this deception was Marcus Delacroix, a French system administrator who appeared, on the surface, to be nothing more than a quiet employee in Paris. His official role at ICTC was routine, overseeing servers, managing data flows, ensuring that the organization's digital backbone ran smoothly. But Delacroix held the keys to something far greater, the classification database that translated raw trade information into globally recognized codes. With a few keystrokes, he could transform shipments of gold into iron, diamonds into coal, or uranium into common stone. He didn't need to move the physical goods, he only had to move numbers. For years, his edits went unnoticed. Each alteration was subtle, shielded by layers of bureaucratic complexity. Customs officers in Burkina Faso filled out forms honestly, reporting gold exports. But once those forms reached ICTC's digital network, Delacroix rewrote reality. The consequences for ordinary Burkinabe citizens were devastating. Despite producing one of Africa's richest streams of gold, the country's schools remained underfunded, its hospitals ill-equipped, and its infrastructure crumbling. Foreign donors looked at the false trade statistics and assumed Burkina Faso simply lacked resources. Aid packages were tied to strict conditions, trapping the nation deeper into dependency. Meanwhile, the true wealth of Burkina Faso flowed quietly into offshore accounts, enriching corporations and individuals who never set foot in Ouagadougou. For a farmer in the countryside, the lie translated into empty pockets. For a young student, it meant classrooms without books. For a mother, it meant medicine unavailable at the local clinic. All the while, her nation's gold was being exchanged abroad for the price of scrap metal. The conspiracy was not limited to Burkina Faso. Delacroix's manipulation revealed the vulnerability of the entire global trade system. If gold could be disguised as iron, what else had been hidden? Oil, diamonds, rare earth minerals. Every country trusted the ICTC systems. Banks, shipping companies, and governments alike based their policies and prices on its classifications. To tamper with that system was to rewrite global economics itself. The scheme might have continued indefinitely had it not been for a young Burkinabe auditor named Asada Zongo, freshly graduated and determined to fight corruption. She compared local customs records with international trade databases. The numbers didn't add up. Shipments recorded as 50 kilograms of iron, or at home reappeared abroad as 50 kilograms of refined bullion. The discrepancies were too precise to be coincidence. Her findings triggered an internal investigation. Soon, whispers spread across ministries and eventually reached the ears of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the rising leader who had promised to defend Burkina Faso's sovereignty at all costs. When presented with the evidence, Traoré was furious. Standing before his cabinet, he declared, "They stole our gold. They stole our children's future, and they did it with a keyboard. His words spread like wildfire across the nation. For the first time, people understood why their land, so rich in resources, had left them poor. Protesters filled Ouagadougou streets, demanding justice and retribution. Under mounting pressure, France was forced to open an inquiry. Investigators traced the manipulations back to Marcus Delacroix. Overnight, the quiet system administrator became the face of an international scandal. But Delacroix was no lone wolf. He revealed that powerful corporations had funded his work, paying him to maintain the illusion that Burkina Faso exported nothing of value. In return, they bought gold at the price of iron and pocketed billions. His arrest in Paris shocked the world. But for many Burkinabe, it was only the beginning. They wanted the $12 billion back. They wanted accountability. The exposure of the conspiracy changed Burkina Faso's destiny. With new safeguards in place, its gold exports finally began to appear correctly in international records. Billions in revenue returned to the nation, funding schools, hospitals, and roads. But perhaps more importantly, the people had awakened. They now understood the invisible forces that had long kept them poor, and they vowed never again to let their wealth be stolen with the stroke of a key. Burkina Faso's struggle was no longer just about gold. It had become a symbol of sovereignty, a reminder to all nations that the greatest thefts are often committed not with weapons, but with systems, codes, and silence.